Welcome to the role of psychological concepts in coaching, where the realms of psychology and coaching unite. I am Nancy Al-Hayari, your guide on this journey, brought to you by the passionate teams that trace and thrive through coaching. We're dedicated to equipping coaches like you with the cutting-edge evidence-based strategies to enhance your practice and impact. From emotional intelligence to neurodiversity, each episode is a deep dive into the tools and techniques that can transform your coaching and your clients' lives. Let's embark on this journey together, one insight at a time. Welcome to episode 6 of the role of psychological concepts in coaching. Today we're going to focus on the powerful influence of positive psychology in our coaching practices. Joining me is Teija Silvola. She's a distinguished business psychologist, an executive and team PCC coach, a coaching supervisor, and a mediator with extensive expertise in leadership development, change, and culture. For 20 years, she has been developing people and organizations through her company, Dexter Oy. Starting with recruiting, psychological assessment, and team building for companies, she discovered coaching 15 years ago and recognized its transformative potential. Today, Teija coaches leaders and teams, teaches coaching skills in an ICF-accredited program, and supervise and mentor coaches. In this episode, Teija will share her profound insights into positive psychology and the sustainable strategies she has developed to empower individuals to thrive. We will delve into how positive psychology principles can enhance performance, foster resilience, and promote well-being. Whether you are a coach, a leader, or someone looking to improve your personal growth, today's conversation is tailored to inspire and equip you with practical tools to harness the power of positive psychology. So let's jump into this journey. Hello, Teija, and thank you for joining us to explore the transformative role of positive psychology in coaching.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's lovely to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, Teija. I'm really excited about our conversation today. To get things started, can you please share with us your personal experience with positive psychology?
Okay, this was very interesting because I became psychologist 24 years ago. I have a degree in education and I studied education and psychology. I wasn't interested in clinical psychology and problems. I was interested in developing people and organizations. So I started my company with a colleague 22 years ago. It was about developing organization and leadership and teams and people and recruiting, psychological assessments. So we looked into strengths a lot and saw how if they matched the needs of the companies. I was introduced in coaching about 14 years ago, and I was like, really, there is a theory and practice that explains everything I believed in already, because I believe that it's useful to do whatever works and what gets best results. And then I found this coaching practice, which somebody had taught already, good methods and practices and background theories for what I already believed from my psychology studies, where I picked the best pieces and my practical experience. So it was kind of backwards getting into coaching, but I think it's very well linked with how positive psychology kind of started, because before that, psychology was emphasizing the problems and how to get from negative things into neutral and zero. And when positive psychology was introduced about 25 years ago, it emphasized how to get from neutral and zero into better and more meaningful and happier life. So it goes kind of hand in hand with what coaching believed. Martin Seligman was the main guy, this psychology professor, introducing year 2000. I suppose that's the start of positive psychology when he wrote into this American Psychologist magazine, his article. Yeah, that's kind of a starting point. But after that, it has gone hand in hand with the development of coaching practice and this positive psychology branch coaching. Actually, ICF, which is the biggest coaching organization, was founded already 1995, so a couple of years before this Seligman's articles. But they both have a benefit from each other. ICF has adopted a lot of, and coaching field and practice has adopted a lot of key ideas from positive psychology and also has benefited from a lot of research that has gone under it and around it within these 25 years. So first, for a long time, I thought that coaching is equal to positive psychology, but later on, when I studied more fields of coaching and niches of coaching, I realized that, okay, there's other thoughts and theories, but I think that still the positive psychology theories are kind of like meta skills that all coaches, no matter what their niches are, use. So yeah, that's about the start, how coaching and positive psychology go hand in hand.
It's really wonderful to learn about your journey from a foundation in psychology to establishing your own coaching practice, Teija, especially your focus on positive psychology. Can you please tell us more about how the coaching practice has embraced positive psychology principles?
Yeah, actually, the coaching is based on positive psychology principles in many ways because it looks forward. It doesn't look back. That's one of the main principles. It doesn't ask what's wrong and why it's wrong. It asks what's possible and what could be possible and how to get there. It invites the client or customer to look at the future and more than past. And the idea that the client has skills and resources and answers, and the coach is kind of with the questions helping the client there is one of the main principles in coaching and in positive psychology too. So when positive psychology focuses on strengths and meaningful goals, building resilience and optimism, focuses on how to develop persons' emotional and social and physical well-being through mindfulness, self-awareness, reflection, helping the client be more present, which of course influence stress management skills, and in the organizations about, for example, the culture of giving feedback and emphasizing the engagement and well-being and performance. Yeah, about the change, how to help people to change, people and organizations and teams to change the best way and cope with fast-changing world. So that's the ideas that positive psychology is working around and also offering a lot of methods and techniques to improve.
That's so true, because when we do look at the frameworks provided by, the coaching accreditation organizations, we do find that many of their competencies align closely with positive psychology. Thank you for sharing that insight, Teija. Could you please share with us some research findings that have informed coaching?
Yeah, actually, since the positive psychology has been around for so long, there's a lot of research around the principles, but I'm not going to go into details of who and what has been found. But I think it's important to know that there has been a lot of research and it supports all the facts that the principles of positive psychology boost the learning and happiness. But the one I'm excited, and also when I talk about coaching to managers in companies, is engineers are excited and leaders are excited when I talk about the brains. So I talk about the neurophysiological research where there has been found that these positive emotions and optimism and relaxation produce chemicals that facilitate these electrical impulses between the brain cells. So actually the research shows that brains work better with positive emotions and optimism and relaxation, and also the opposite, negative emotions, pessimism, stress inhibit these electrical impulses. So of course, when the brain works better, it affects on learning, problem-solving capacity, creativity, how well we feel physically and emotionally, affects the resilience, which is probably the thing we need most in our life and in work life now and in the future, in our relationships, cooperation, sleeping, immune system. So I always say that happiness is a choice. And when you dig a bit deeper, you could say that health is a choice too, that you can choose what you think and how you think and develop yourself in that. And then it has a lot of influence in your overall health. Of course, you can't choose everything. It's not denying the facts, but you can influence a lot by just, for example, influencing your thinking.
It's really fascinating to learn the research finding on the impact of, positive emotions, optimism, on our brain functions and our ability to shape our lives, especially our overall well-being. Building on that, Teija, I do love to hear how positive psychology has been particularly applied in coaching sessions. So could you please share with us a case study or maybe an example, either with one of your clients or maybe yourself, where positive psychology was used and gave positive results?
So I think that I use positive psychology with all my clients and with myself and with my teenage daughter, which is probably the most challenging of these three, but it works. So I was talking about deliberately changing your way of thinking. And I think that comes up every coaching process. Whatever we think, we prepare the way for the future. It's important to kind of get an idea of what is our thinking. If it's undermining us and pulling the carpet under our feet and talking negative about our resources and our future, it affects our brain and it prepares us to fail. So the first thing is usually for people to realize that how is they thinking? Are they encouraging themselves and preparing for the success and reaching their goals, or the opposite? So a good practice is these three things habit, that every morning when you wake up, I do it myself also at times, and I teach it to all of my clients, that every morning you think or say out loud 3 good things about yourself, 3 good things about this day, and 3 good things about life. And when you do that, it builds self-confidence. It gives you a better feeling. You're kind of on the top of the start. It's linked with gratitude, because if you are grateful, if you find things you are grateful for, it brings out these positive feelings. You can try, if you think of things that make you angry, and you are kind of bitter, it pulls you down. But when you deliberately think of things that you are grateful, you get these positive feelings, and everything is easier with positive feelings. Another technique I use probably, I think with most of my clients, is that strengths of past successes. People usually have something that is difficult for them. So I invite them to think about something they succeeded in the past. And everybody has something. And then I invite them to think what strengths they used in that. How did they go about it? And how would it go if they would apply the similar techniques and using their strengths to this dilemma they have in front of them? So somehow there's this pattern in the brain already for success. And by doing that, you invite them to use the same pattern that is already there to imply them that in this new situation. And it works. So by talking about successes, we mold our brains or our clients' brains. I always ask about people's strengths, because it gives out good feeling, and then it builds trust and people get confidence. And then I invite them to use some of their strengths in the things they have. Maybe they think it's difficult or something. But anyway, also they realize that they have a lot of strengths, and people don't tend to appreciate their strengths a lot. So it's a good practice to think about them and talk about them and remind themselves about it. And even daily to give thanks, tap on your shoulder and give thanks of what you did well and succeeded, so that you remember that you also did things good. So I think that at least these are the things I use a lot with my clients. I remember this one guy who came, he was in good position, about 45, and he said that he would like to be happier. He didn't feel very happy. And I asked him to think about all the things that are well in his life. And when he did think and talk and made a big list about what all was well, he realized that he is actually a happy man. He just don't think about it. His focus was always what's wrong and what is missing, and he forgot to be grateful of what a lot of things was right. And actually it changed in this one coaching session, and after that it remained. He came back and said that thank you for helping me to realize that I am a happy man. So it's interesting to think that how does that influence his family relationships, his work performance, or whatever he does when he feels that he is happy, or when he feels that there's always something missing. Yes, so I could still talk about some of the very good practices. I think nowadays people are not present in their lives. They live in the past, regretting it, or in the future, fearing, or just trying to achieve. So one of the practices in positive psychology, which is very good in coaching to help the clients be present. How you do that, whether it's through breathing. Good breathing exercise is that when you inhale, you count to 5, and when you exhale, you count to 7. So that gives your body a message to relax, or whether it's mindfulness, or whether it's reflecting and becoming self-aware. Whatever techniques you use when you help your client to be more present in their lives, that has enormous effects, because that's key to stress management. There's nothing to be stressed if you live in the moment. There's no past, there's no future. There's just this moment. So actually we have only this present moment. So yeah, that's effective. Then this positive reframing is very effective method too, because there's a difference if people see themselves as a victim, that why does always these things happen to me, or whether they see themselves as a active person who can influence their lives, kind of like a superhero of their life story. Or if something happens, always things happen, if they see that, okay, there's a problem, there's this difficult relationship, there's always this and this and this, whether they see them as an obstacles or problems or difficulties, or whether they see them as a universe offering a possibility to grow and develop in your problem-solving skills, in your social skills. So from problem to opportunity, positive reframing of things, that makes a lot of difference.
That was incredible. I feel like the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves are very important. Because it's really, as you have explained it, because when we see ourselves as active participants and as positive thinkers, it does boost our positive attributes like the ones you mentioned, confidence, resiliency, and self-efficacy. And this inherently will improve our quality of life, focusing on what is good and right about us rather than what's wrong with us. So thank you for that, Teija. And I do love the story that I have you shared, because I believe many of us face similar situations when, sometimes lives go so fast that we forget to be grateful and acknowledge the good things in our lives. And this where writing them down can be very helpful. So that's why some people use a gratitude journal to write things that they are grateful or thankful for every day. But I've never thought of it as part of positive psychology before. I love how you explained the science behind it, that it helps shift our minds to a more positive state.
Yeah, exactly. When you do that, it changes our brains. Actually, this positive psychology was used in sports to start with. When sport coaches were coaching, the competitor was asked to imagine the positive outcome of the sport or the competition. When he imagined it how to start, how he is in the start, how he proceeds, how he feels when he's there. So by doing that, he prepares the mental structure or a way for it. And there's a lot of research that when you do that, whatever you are intending, it happens. There's more chances it to happen than if you don't. So positive psychology took this, and in coaching, we can use it for everything else. Whatever people want or whatever goals they have, you can ask them to imagine most optimistic or wanted outcome and really go step by step toward it and feel everything along the way. So by doing that, they prepare their brains to actually do that. And when they talk about it, they think about it, they feel it, it boosts the goal to be attained in the future. So I think because goals and making goals, achieving goals, that's one big part of a positive psychology. And this positive imagining and mental visualization, it boosts achieving those goals.
Now, when I think about it, I used to do this back when I was in the university, but I used to call it manifesting an A. But now I understand that what it actually did is just reduce my negative feelings, like the nervousness and the anxiety before these exams, because I used to recall the times that I did really well, which boosted my confidence.
So it's really interesting to see. Like, I love this because now I feel like I'm understanding my mind better.
And I think by doing that, you make a link with past successes. And it's exactly like that. When I do presentations or if I do something, I'm nervous, I always decide what's the atmosphere there. I decide that it's relaxed. I'm attentive, but relaxed. And there's humor. There's people enjoy. I enjoy. There's communication. And when I prepare myself mentally for that, it usually happens. So I think it's as much as me preparing myself than kind of manifesting what's going to happen, because we influence a whole lot of what's around us and how people are around us. So I think as coaches also, when we kind of decide how the sessions will be and how we will be in our sessions, kind of like at our best, relaxed, attentive, trying to find what's best for the client in whatever he or she has, I think it will happen. So I think that we should actually use that more often as coaches too, or whatever we do, teachers, in our relationships.
Yeah, it's like setting intentions and believing in them, and then everything will fall into place because, as you've said, our minds are super powerful. The more we focus on positivity, the more positive things we will see in our lives. With that in mind, Teija, can you share with us an exercise or maybe two that can help anyone listening right now to improve their well-being?
Well, I recommend for everybody this journaling of gratitude or these 3 good things at exercise. I recommend intentionally thinking good things about yourself, about other people, about the future, about today, about life, and making a habit of that. And also I recommend, it's called random act of kindness, that you do something good just because you can, not wanting to be repaid. So do good for somebody because you get a lot of good feelings of that. And I recommend thinking about your habits. Good exercise is actually this wheel of life that you make a circle, and then there's a name different segments in that. There's your work life, your home life, your relationship, your development, your education, all different areas of your life, and then rate how happy you are into those areas. Can be that you are very happy at your home and living, but they're not happy at all for your development. What about your free time? So when you have rated those, you can see that maybe the wheel of happiness is lopsided, that there's not all the areas are the same. So then make a plan. There's an area that you are not very happy. Think about 3 or 5 concrete actions you could take to improve your happiness in that area. And when you do those actions, make them practical and concrete and such that you can do that. They are not dependent on somebody else. And then just start increasing your happiness, because you only have this one life, and you can influence and decide a lot of things, and you can change your life if you don't feel like this is exactly what kind of life you want. So you can't change all, but you can always change something. So start making changes. And if you want to feel healthier physically, for example, think that what habits done daily will lead into that. Maybe adding walking or going earlier to bed or drinking more water or whatever it is. Just make a habit, make it easy, and be accountable for a coach or your friend, and just keep on doing that. So I think that if we are coaches, it would be useful to try these positive psychology practices and methods on ourselves, because then we see how they work and then we believe in them more, and then we can maybe have more motivation and energy to help our clients in the same direction.
Thank you, Teija, for sharing all of these wonderful exercises. I like the Wheel of Life because it does gives us, the full picture of where we are right now at life, which can, set the stage for taking an active role by planning for our happiness and then going out there to achieve it.
Well, I think that happiness is a choice. So like you said, choose happiness. And be happy, and do the things and think the thoughts and say the words that boost your happiness in the future. And when you are feeling better, it's easier for you to spread that around you. It's like in the airplane, put the oxygen mask first on your own face, and then you can help others. So start with yourself and practice these, and you can be a big help for your clients.
Beautifully said. Yes, we need to help ourselves before we can help others. Thank you so much, Teija. This was a very lovely and very interesting conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. It was lovely to be here.
Thank you for joining us on the role of psychological concepts in coaching. Stay curious, stay inspired, and join us next time as we continue to explore the transformative power of psychology in coaching. Until then, keep thriving and making a difference. I am Nancy Al-Hayari on behalf of Race and Thrive Through Coaching, wishing you all the best on your coaching journey.